Hello there, still no mag wheels as of yet, but I have ordered my panels from Astle Design and they are on their way. So in this episode I go to a car museum and I get to look at 4 variants of the Ford Falcon Coupe hardtop, and I get to pore all over them and take footage and ask questions. One in particular, a XA GT Coupe in Wild Plumb, or in modern terms, pink, particularly got my attention because it had the layout for the windscreen wipers and the washer bottle and all that stuff that I need to think about. Hello and welcome to episode 27 of Missle Industries' XB Ford Fairmont 351 hardtop project. Now, last episode I mentioned that I'd done some stuff while my mother was here with us for a week, sneakily behind the scenes, while nobody was looking and while my mother was having an afternoon nap. I came out to the garage here and there to do this and that, and firstly, I got myself a battery, and then I modified the battery tray with a welded lug so I could use this poverty spec battery retaining clamp, so that went in alright. And secondly, I got myself a lower radiator hose to suit the 351 because I had one. The inside of the radiator hose was full of rust and crud and scale, and I thought, I don't want to introduce that to my pristine motor. So I bought another one on eBay for $30 delivered. And what else did I do? Oh, that's right. You might see from here the tags have been reinstalled onto the cowl because the tags have been absent since I painted the engine bay, and the tags were covered in a thick layer of grunge, you know, from 30 years of being in a barn doing nothing, 51 years of being on a car out there in the wide world. And I said to myself, I'd really like to clean those up and reinstall them, but how am I going to do it? And at the end of the day, after experimenting ever so briefly with a few things, I found that steel wool soap pads gave me the result that I sought, which was tags nice and clean and factory looking from afar. There's probably a little bit of, well, you know, when you brushed metal look, they probably look a bit like that when they're nice and close up, but from the front of the car when you stand at this end, they look great, so they're good enough for me. You can still read them, they're nice and clean, and all it took was a bit of elbow grease and some steel wool pads to scrub away at them. I did initially do a practice run with one of the VIN plates from one of the BMWs I parted out over the years, and that came up great, and I thought to myself, I will totally do this with my XB hardtop tags, and that is the end result over there, looking all shiny and factory and new with the non-Ford Bunnings rivets that I deployed for all you concourse enthusiasts out there. So there, once those went back onto the firewall, I said to myself, I would really like to put that wiper motor in and plumb all of the washer stuff up, because that would make the engine bay look slightly more complete. I still have a wiring harness to run through this engine bay, and that harness is crusty and gross, so that's not going to happen just yet. But what I think I will do is unbox all those goodies over there and deploy my wiper arm, and then ask some technical questions of you guys. So let's get on to that now. I should probably also add that I painted the what would you call this, the cowl cover. This was copper bronze, at the start of the week, and I thought to myself, if I'm going to put the wiper assembly on board and mock everything up, I might just give this a quick sand and prime. So that's what I went ahead and did. It's by no means perfect, but it will bear up under scrutiny from 10 feet away, so I will put this back into the gap and I will bolt it down, screw it down, and mount the jets into it and just see what's what. Hopefully nothing needs to be trimmed, that'd be annoying. And I was sorely tempted to paint it green. I thought to myself, eventually this is going to be painted with the same green that I spray the whole car with. I do have another 2 litres of green paint ready to go, but you know, every time you get paint mixed, the shade's slightly different, so I will hold out until I'm ready to spray the whole car, and this will get painted with the same tin of green that all the exterior panels on this car will get painted with. Door jambs, inside boots, inside boot lids and stuff like that can be done with the coat of paint or the tin that I have now, so it can all be the same proximity of green, but when I lay the colour down on the entire car, it's going to be from the same can with the same gun, just to make sure everything is consistent. Because the last thing you want to do is paint a panel at a time with successive cans of paint that you buy. It's a bad idea. So, I'll just pop this back into place. I only have to move it again when I start putting stuff over there. So I should probably do that. Okay, so what I have here is a selection of components to get my wiper system and washer system back to life. So this came with the car. I removed it months ago. It was covered in crud, and while my mum was staying over last week, I surreptitiously got this out, gave it a good scrub, removed all of the years and years of caked on dirt, lubricated some of the moving parts, and here it's today somewhat presentable. I also took delivery of some XA squirter jets, because from what I can gather this is an XA setup. My car's wiring harness accommodates that, so that's what I'm going to go with. So the squirters will go into that cowl panel over there, popping up, and the hoses will run like so. Speaking of hoses, I got 10 metres of hose from Bunnings and 5mm. I hope that works, because I couldn't see how the 3mm was ever going to fit. So I have the bottle, I have the mounting bolts, I have the hose, I have the squirters, I have the wiper arms, I have the wiper motor. Should theoretically only need wiper arms to suit the coupe. Now this is where a technical question I need to put to you guys comes in. Now there's XA, XB and XC variants of these wiper arms, and I think I have the XB variant with the bolt to hold it down on the spline, plus the little guide pin there for the driver's side arm. Now this guide pin on the XC is a little ball joint that you clip it into, but on the XB, this is my hypothesis, on the XB it's basically just a little bracket clips on over that, and it runs as a guide to make the driver's side wiper do what it's supposed to do. And the XA is similar to the XB, but these clip on with a circlip rather than a spline and nut solution like the XC. So what arms do I need to get my hands on? Do I need to get XB arms, or is this an XC arrangement where the bolt is absent? I'm pretty sure this is the XB setup, but I need you guys to tell me what I have here, because it's not the XC, because the XC literally has a little brass bolt for the plastic XC clip to clip onto, like this one over here. This one has the little clip. Has a little clip with a little bolt. And while I was at the, what's it called, Brisbane Car Museum in Nudgee last week, while we were showing my mother around, I got to look at all three variants. Now, the XB was parked passenger side to the aisle, so I couldn't crawl all over it. But I had a good hard look at the XC and the XA that were there, and I'm pretty sure I recorded that footage, so I'll cut to that now. So what I need to know is this an XB arm? Logic would predict that it is. And if that is the case, then I need to go find myself some XB Ford Falcon hardtop wiper arms, because as hardtop guys know, particularly these guys that are putting these cars together, the wiper arms are hardtop specific because they are shorter by about 40 to 50 millimeters. I mean, I've heard you can knock up your own out of the sedan wipers, but there are some nice items out there on eBay that I could get my hot little hands on. Unfortunately, the XB Coupe wiper arm assemblies are the most expensive of the options out there available, so I need to know what I have. I mean, I could go source an XC one of these with the little ball joint clip and put XC arms on my car, but that's just an extra step I don't want to take. So put some information in the comments to give me some guidance. Am I on the right track here, or do I have something here that's some kind of long XC version that I can't use if I buy XB wipers? Do you have those instances where you take a shortcut while you're elbows deep in a project and you think to yourself, it's going to be ages before I need to address that problem I'm about to create, so I'm just going to ignore that and then worry about it then? Well, that day is now, and I've filled my mounting bolt holes for the wiper motor full of paint. Now I have the bolts here Now I need to figure out what the thread size is so I can run a tap through that and clean the bolts up. Now I'm pretty sure this is the tap that I need, but I'm not 100% sure. So I've got out the rest of my tap and die kit, and I'm using the 1024, and I'm pretty sure, there we go, that's the one that I need. My guess was correct. Now it's time for me to fix that stuff up that I caused while I was in the middle of painting my engine bay all those weeks ago. So I'll just tap this, and then theoretically I should be able to just mount that wiper motor in there. And now that I look at the wiper arm, am I missing some kind of bush that needs to go between the wiper motor arm and the rest of the assembly? Because it sure does look like it. But anyway, the bonus for this episode is to plumb the washer motor in and run all the lines for that, so it doesn't really matter if the arm just sits in the cowl panel not connected, as long as it's all there. We're most of the way towards getting that part of it done, so let's just carry on. Of course, it could just be that the threads are full of rust as well, so that's done now, and now it's time to put that wiper motor in. Alright, now it's time to mount this bottle. Now this is an XA bottle with the hole in the lid to drop a hose down from the remote pump, which is on the back of that wiper motor. Now last Thursday, when I went to that car museum, there was an XA GT hardtop there in pink, whatever that colour is. Wild mulberry? No, it's something else, isn't it? Never mind. It's pink, very pink, but I'll still drive it because it's an XA GT. Yes, I will, even though it's going to obscure my access to various hoses that I haven't tightened up yet. Yeah, I'm putting the bottle in, just because aesthetic reasons, not driving car around reasons. Run some tube. Okay, the cowl is on. It's a little bit warped, but obviously there'll be chrome pieces and glass and whatnot holding that cowl panel down so it makes sense. So for the time being you can just jut up like that until I can figure out how to get it sit more nicely. So, time to run some squirters and some hoses. Time to consult my XA GT footage. Although they ran a tube along there, like a rubber sleeve to run the pipes along. And I can do that just yet. Okay, I reviewed the footage from the Muscle Car Museum, and the XA that I looked at ran all the cables along the front of the cowl, or rather all of the hoses along the front of the cowl, and curve them all down on the right side of the wiper motor, so I might just do that until such time as I know better. So let's get stuck into that and plumb it all in. Okay, there you have it. I have plumbed in my piping. Who would have thought 5 meters wouldn't quite have, well, who would have thought 5 meters would only just have been enough? There you go. So 5mm hose for the wing. That's all plumbed up. Sorely tempted to run some power through it and see if it squirts water, but I'm reasonably confident that it's going to work just fine, and I'll cross that bridge in the months to come when the car is ready for its roadworthy inspection. There is still much more to do in terms of heater pipes, air conditioning pipes, if I ever get my air conditioning under dash unit back from radiator place. Every time I ring the guy, he goes, "Oh yeah, it's on the bench, it's I look at it every day," and then other stuff comes in and I have to do that instead. So, wiper motor installed, wiper mechanism installed, cowl painted, cowl installed. I just need to know which wipers I need. Pretty sure it's the XB wiper assemblies that I need. But please leave your comments in the comment section and tell me which wiper assemblies I need to chase down. Because it'd be super awesome if I got it right the first time and I could just use what I bought. Because all of this stuff here, particularly with window wipers, the chrome, all those bits and bobs, it's all Coupe specific. I have the chrome already, it's sitting over there in a tube. I just need the right wipers to go with that window, and that's one of the many Coupe specific things that I need to check off my to-do list. So now that those arms are in, or rather the mechanism is in, I need the mechanism that suits this assembly. Now I'm pretty sure it's the XB, but yeah, let me know in the comments. Now, before I run the credits on this video, I'll go through all the footage that I got at the Brisbane Car Museum. It's in Nudgee, but anyway, I had a thoroughly good time there. I was surprised and delighted how much I enjoyed looking at those cars. I don't really do a lot of stuff like that, so I'd rather be building in my garage, but yeah, it was a surprisingly pleasant way to spend the morning. And we had lunch there, and then I went back to get some photos of the ones that I didn't fully appreciate the first time round, and they were like, you know, once you've bought a ticket you can go in and out, as long as you don't leave the building, you're all good. So that's what we did, and it was thoroughly enjoyable. So pretty. I'm such a fanboy for the escorts. Will the car be